This will be my second English reading from the poem book For an Hour We Lived from Flowers. Meanwhile, I'm preparing a newer English poem book, and these poems are still unpublished. So let me read some of the poems in this book. The poesy. The poesy of the beginning of a poem or a novel often resides in the fact that the composition sets in as if it were cut out of full life, out of the banality, the banal, unadorned simplicity. Snow flurry. Out of the wide sea of the soils and the wide sky spitting snowflakes, the silhouettes loosen like the names of Bernese farmsteads, naking alders, linden trees, and of a forest from the nearby horizon. And humans. This poem was written in 1996. And humans grow up in great freedom to argue with each other. Christians against Christians, to be happy about another. Others about others and different looking ones. And all of them go their ways, some alone, others together, and yet alone, and still others together and perhaps without the feeling of being alone, and are already growing old by the age of 8, then again at 30, and possibly many times over, accuse pessimism, accuse submissiveness, and still hope as gray-haired children. Yarning. She had to bid farewell to earth, and would have given all she had to come back once again to this place. It was not to have been her homeland, the site of a curbstone of a sidewalk, dirty from the abrasion of car tires, would already have made her unspeakably happy. Also, the picture of a tree, merely the vision of a heron, a rat, of a breaking wave, of a human being, of her love. Skeleton of a candle, gnawed away under the watchful eyes of the Mother of God. The bit of warmth resounded in the masonry. Wishes still hover here for the new year, which is going off outdoors. In the Austrian Weinviertel, wilderness ends and the tamed land at the edge of the village. At least you can still imagine this, that here the geese grazed, and on the open meadows the tiny plantlets and the village edge filled the places which now have become so rare. Now here a poem that I dedicated my late grandfather, who, through reading a lot of philosophical texts, um, told me he has become a Taoist. He was convinced this was the most beautiful philosophy on earth. On Thursday, I asked you about your thoughts on freedom. On a Sunday, how life would be after death. You said you were Taoist and nobody has yet come back. And since then, I ask myself what it means to grow older. And here a poem that I wrote first in French to have a strong voice for my cherished memories of bicycle tours in France, together with Swiss friends, or also my wife. I will read this poem first in English and then in French. Homage to a life, desire to think of love for the landscape, love of passing by without losing its colors, homage to lobsters, man, dead or mortal, without losing the idea of springtimes. Hommage à une vie, envie de penser, d'amour du paysage, amour de passage, sans perdre ses couleurs. Hommage aux homards et aux hommes morts, aux mortels, sans perdre l'idée des printemps. The next poem is one that I dedicated to the father of a friend of mine who loved the mountains and was born in the mountains, and whom I knew as a visitor of this small village in central Switzerland. Deceased father in the dream of a dream. In the dream, he once more ascended the mountain ridges with his father, over the meads where the marmots no longer squeaked, through furrows and trenches and incisions, and by higher rock towers, where the chamois' droppings lay scattered at their feet. With his deceased father, he once more climbed up by the roaring brooks, scoured the dense alpine shrubs where one could gather no more berries, to a peak where the choughs screeched so penetratingly in the summer, and paddled with their tails and wings around the ridges. All they wanted to see was if up there already lay snow. I could um, warmly tell you this is a very good book, and you might be interested in reading it.